one. Oh, I did it a little early. Hello, we're here. Welcome back. This is the Roll for Mischief crew, getting going again. The name of this episode, episode 8, is Shifting Tides. The this session, are we on session 4? I always ask.
No,
Either,
it's six.
it's 3 or 4.
Part 7.
Sure.
I don't know.
All right, I'm
This
just
one
gonna
is a weird
stop.
one.
I'm just gonna stop saying that.
Yeah. Just don't.
We're currently in part 7 for YouTube.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Here we go. Our characters. We are the players. Our characters have just escaped the ISCB hideout base that they were chilling in. It became readily apparent that they were gonna be detained without any indication of when they would be released. I don't know. It was a really sketchy sounding kind of thing. So they just had to get out of there before they became prisoners, at least for Eigner, once again. And
Right.
Eigner can definitely tell Fiala and Halifax that they do not want to be detained in this kind of area with these kind of spellcasters at all.
Why is there something bad that happens?
Oh, brother, let me tell you. Actually, I think it'd be good to just have Asa just clear it once and for all. So, narratively, what happened over the first sessions of this whole thing is that our characters were navigating through this weird, what seemed to be like an alternate timeline of life progressing. All turned out to be an illusion. Our characters got just back to this moment where, when I was DMing the last episode, it was essentially the moment where we ended the last episode, is where we got brought back to.
I
But
can confirm all these things.
for sure, yeah, you can confirm. But confirm how cognizant our characters are of all the events that happened in the illusion.
I would say the last stretch with Finnegan, when you guys got free, definitely 100% cognizant of it. The one before that is hazy, but you guys remember most of it.
Uh-huh.
It's in the way that you think about a dream, though.
For sure.
Not in the same way of it's kind of escaping you like a dream. Like, you just remember it in that sort of surreal dream state of I don't know. I'm just trying to think of it clearly.
Yeah.
It's different than a true memory, but it in the way that you grasp it.
Uh-huh.
But it does feel real.
Okay. I was also going to highlight, so using that kind of interpretation, Fiala and Halifax are going to have this really interesting dynamic, because there was that time where they were hopping in between all of these scenes of the two of them together. So,
yeah, both real and illusory
both
scenes.
real and illusory scenes, and that was during that stretch where they would very clearly remember that. So just wanted to put that out there.
You're right. That was in that stretch of real memory of, for sure, this is not confusing. This actually happened memory.
Yeah. For sure.
So
However-
they have seen in glimpses their entire love story.
Yeah.
Both the love story from the real world and from the dream.
And all the emotions, the emotional connections, the emotional turmoil, and all that. That is what makes all of this real. Is that emotional connection.
The emotions were real.
Mm-hmm.
The events that caused them were fake.
A really prime
Emotions are
example
real.
that I can give from my own life
Wow.
is I had a dream, and my brothers were in it. My family was in it. And I remember waking up, and I felt real resentment towards my family that were not directly my brothers. And I don't remember a lot of the dream itself, but I remember exactly that feeling of resentment was pronounced. I had another dream where I was, living in this small house with my kids and my brothers, and feeling this strong sense of support, specifically from 2 out of 3 of my brothers. Then again, the dream was hazy. There are things here and there, but that sense of emotional structure was there. And that's what ties me to that dream, and that's why I remember some of it the way I do.
Anyone
To
who's been
punctuate
married will have experienced that on both sides, because you'll have a dream about that person, and then you wake up and they're there, or they have a dream about you and something that you've done in their subconscious fears or whatever.
So then you're looking at them, and the emotions are real, but the events of the dream didn't actually happen. So
Right.
whatever happened in that dream that pissed you off or made you feel super connected, like those emotions are real. You're still mad. You're still connected.
Right.
Just didn't do the catalyst. Just didn't actually happen.
Man,
Right.
this really is the Inception episode, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really 100%.
My
I feel like
sister-in-law
my attempts to clear things up didn't clear them up.
Nope.
Yeah.
Good.
My sister-in-law once forced my brother-in-law to apologize to her for something that he did in her dream. Like, he gets woken up at like 4 a.m. and she's like, I need you to say sorry for this thing. I've not been told what the thing is that he's done wrong in this dream.
Just say you're sorry,
But,
bitch. Just say you're sorry.
Yeah.
No, I like, so there's an easy way of being able to be like, oh, the emasculating aspect of that. You can think that's a route to take, but the other thing is, like, she woke up clearly distraught, recognizing that it's not his fault, but she still is hurt.
Right.
And she still needs that closure. So she's just saying, look, I know this isn't something you did. I know you didn't cause this to happen, but my emotions are at this state. I just need you to tell me you're sorry so I can have closure. Because the worst thing about any dream, you almost never get closure.
I don't know. I had a perfect dream the other night. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, every dream I've had that has been so good, I've woken up just near the end.
So
Every
good.
dream I've had that's been so bad, I've woken up just near the end. There's never a moment where the goodness
Yeah.
is made permanent or the badness is resolved.
Exactly.
So the moral of the story is
Shut up and play D&D. Oh.
Fiala is still not. That's more reasons why she is not addressing this situation. Is that these are things that are, probably Halifax wants to address, I would assume. And then there's certain things in there that I don't think that he was aware of that come specifically from her side.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there were a few bits of like upset and stuff, especially towards the end, that Halifax will just have his side of things.
Well, like, I'm going to go with, like, a prime example. I don't know if he understands why they went into the scene where, or the moment where they were trying to instigate the riot. He may not be aware of why they jumped into that scene.
Possibly not.
Because that particular moment was very much for Fiala.
Yeah, that was a Fiala moment, not a Halifax moment. And so he doesn't know why. Like, there are going to be scenes that are for him. There were scenes for him that, and there were a few of them, but there are scenes that were for him. I would imagine he is not conscious of why they went through those scenes, but in concert with all of the other scenes, there has to be a contextual clue, as this has something to do with their romantic relationship, but he's not fully aware why.
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, you guys have plenty of time to resolve these issues as you're walking along together. Traveling in close proximity to one another towards the Twin Harbors.
I was quite enjoying the idea of this being something that doesn't necessarily get entirely resolved. However, it'll be interesting to see how interactions go forth. So actually, yeah, let's get into this.
You,
So how are
you
we
guys
getting
do
back?
very clearly have things to distract you
Mm,
in the information that you have that's personally connected to Vincent.
mm,
There are ways to get around resolving these things right now.
yeah. So yeah, how are we getting back? Are we just walking?
Uh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for the moment,
Right.
unless we try and steal some horses.
In fact, let's role play that because I think the fact that we've just escaped, the interaction could be informative to how our relationships have been altered by our recent experiences.
Exactly.
So, what time of day is it when we get out?
It is nighttime.
Nighttime.
Woke you up
Night
middle of
time.
the
It
night.
was early morning, wasn't it?
Middle of the night. Woke you up dead middle of the night to spirit you away before you were imprisoned by wizards.
Wizard
I
prison.
just realized
Hmm?
the feat unintentionally gives Eigner de facto dark vision.
Oh, hell yeah. Of course it does. It doesn't matter for me if it's nighttime or not.
And it also allows him to supersede certain spells like invisibility.
Definitely.
We'll find that out real fast.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm
Yeah.
fucking talking about, dude.
It actually gives him tremor sense for all intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
I mean,
is
a
tremor sense
version
even a
of-
thing? In
Like,
Fire-
it doesn't give him literally tremor sense, but it is.
Well, I mean, there's more like the flavor of how I'm spinning
Yeah.
it. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. He's flavoring it for tremor
I'm
sense. But it's
flavoring
not
it in that
quite.
way. But like the specific text of the feat is a little different.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, no, I would say, there are enough disadvantages of the feat that I'm not worried about the balance. But because there are spells that destroy him.
Yeah.
I just need
course.
to make sure that I use those things.
Right. But I was just realizing, because we are in the middle of the night, and I was thinking about how we're going to get Eigner through the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to. Because the two of us have dark vision. You have 60 feet dark vision, Halifax, and I have 120. So, but we don't need to, like, guide Eigner around. He's got it.
Eigner, how comfortable are you navigating yourself in the wilderness?
Well, usually I feel very comfortable, but usually I can see where I'm going. So I don't know. I can't quite explain it to you very well, but I'm able to follow you very easily. I can tell where it is that you're going, but I can't exactly see where I'm going. So yes, usually I'd be leading all of us from the front, but I'm not sure I can do that right now. But I'll be fine. I mean, as long as you go ahead of me, I'll be able to follow. You can trust me on that.
I'm gonna say, Halifax, why don't you stay with him, and I can probably see a lot better than you can. I will scout around.
All right. Let's divide our resources, but combine our efforts.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go about that.
Yeah, give me
I can roll a perception and a stealth if you'd like, Asa.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So first, perception. Not great. 11. Or did you
Alright.
want to do stealth first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. 26 for stealth.
All right, you make it into the woods, but every sound is drawing your attention. The screeching of an owl, the cracking of a twig, the rustling in the bushes. It might be, a small animal. It might be something more. Everything is setting you on edge, and you just are kind of getting this overwhelming sense of being followed.
Okay, I just continue basically. Uh, I am. That's just an excuse. It doesn't matter how.
Oh, I know. I knew exactly what Theala was doing when you were like, "I'm going to scout ahead."
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. This
Um,
is 100% an excuse. So
yeah.
she will maybe come back. I'll come back in every now and then, give a status report, and then go back out.
If you're not overly concerned about every sound, you are lost deep in your mind, overthinking everything. So it might be the reason why you're fixating on all the noises isn't because it's an actual threat, but because you're looking for whatever distraction will draw you out of your own thoughts.
Yeah, that was literally the way that I was internally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interpreting that. Cool. All right.
So basically, Eigner and I are sort of like traipsing along behind.
Mm-hmm.
Eigner,
Hilofax.
hi. Do you
Hello.
think that perhaps?
What now?
Do you think that Theala's okay?
Well, I can't exactly read her body language. I don't think she's talked a lot, so I can't discern anything from the sound of her voice at all. And to be completely honest with you, she's a mystery to me anyways. So I'm not sure if I'd be able to give you any helpful information. So all I can say is, I hope so, Halifax. I hope she's okay.
Me as well. Our experiences were somewhat intense, given the short amount of time in which we experienced them.
Yes.
I forgot to ask. Did you experience what we did? We seem to share a dream state, Eridu, myself, and Theala.
It's incredibly hazy to me, and I'm still trying to sort out what was reality and what was not. But no, I do remember. I remember some things. I do remember some very intense experiences as well.
Yes. Very strange what was created. This Vincent and his power of illusion.
It's unlike anything that I've ever witnessed, and I hope I can not witness anything like that again for the rest of my life.
I concur entirely. A dreadful weapon were it to fall into the wrong hands. That sort of magic. Powerful stuff. I wonder, where could that power have even come from? But regardless, your sight. Forgive me. I've barely talked to you about it. How are you feeling?
Again, I can't exactly find the proper words, but I guess I'm okay. It is shocking, obviously, to not be able to see, but I still have a way of viewing the world that is just not visual. You know, I still can sense things. I can still sense myself in the world, sense where I can go, but I just can't see it.
Indeed.
It's strange, Halifax. It's very strange, but I don't know. I got to tell you one thing. When I was in the kitchen the other night, and I was having that beef stew, it was the most incredible thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. The smells, the aroma, the taste was so much more intense and overwhelming than anything I've ever experienced. I think I'm going to give up the adventuring life, Halifax, and become a cook.
There was an adventuring bard that I know of by the name of Wonder Stevens. And he used to have a little ditty that he would sing called "Superstitious." I've often thought about that one. The idea that different kinds of sensations can give one a near religious experience. It seems to be quite the gift in the way that you're behaving with it, which I say is admirable. Not a lot of people would be able to behave as you in this situation.
I suppose I'm not a whole lot of people.
Indeed, you are not.
I certainly have been marked for something. I haven't thought about things in this way in a long time, but it certainly seems like I've been chosen by some kind of higher power. Whether that's a good thing or ultimately a bad thing, I can't exactly tell. Right now it seems like I've been marked for torment, to be continually stripped down, mocked, and dehumanized.
Well, if you do find your way to getting in contact with these higher powers, perhaps you could ask them for some directions. I feel as though we're
Oh no,
aimlessly listing through this wilderness.
oh no, Halifax, I'm gonna strangle them. I'm gonna strangle those higher powers. Give them a good old what for. You can't toy with mortals like this.
Eigner, I have known you for barely any amount of time that would warrant a declaration such as this. But what we have been through, and what I know of your character, I will stand beside you.
Even if the heavens come crashing down upon us?
Especially.
I knew I liked you for a reason, Halifax. I think
Let's
you're
catch up with Theala.
I was gonna say, I think you're smiling right now. Okay, yes, let's
Right, my friend.
let's
I
go
feel
find
like
her.
Halifax's statement's like, I've known you for like a couple of days, but it feels like I've known you for 3 years or so.
Something like that. Wait, weren't you the best man at my wedding? Just kidding. Just kidding. He doesn't remember that a lot.
Oh no, he does remember that.
Oh wait,
He
oh, of
doesn't?
course he does.
Yeah, he remembers the last stream
Okay.
clearly. It's just the one.
I
remember everything.
Yeah.
It's the Eridu being his best man that's easy. In fact, those two memories don't want to coalesce at all.
Oh, yeah, that's true, because it was Eridu first, and then it was Halifax. Well, Eridu missed out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he was all like, "Oh, I gotta go do stuff." / I
Yeah.
gotta hide because I'm not actually Eridu, and now Eigner knows.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys walk for some time, as morning creeps along, and the sun rises above the mist of the forest. You can make out in the not too far distance the silhouette of a town, a small town, definitely not one of the city states of the Free Kingdoms. And you could probably make it there within the hour. So if there's no reason why you wouldn't, I will continue on with my narration.
Fiala, what do your fair elven eyes see?
Can't go through an episode without quoting Lord of the Rings.
I know. It's gotta happen, dude. I just had to do one in the second half. We had one in the first half.
You're. Oh, sorry. You were muted for a second there, Josh.
No, that's on purpose. I have the remodeling guys showed up randomly, so I'm trying to. She does not come out until you guys reach the town.
Okay. So we'll just continue moving towards the town then.
Unless you
Continue, dear Dungeon Master.
if you like to try to find her, you can.
Go
Can you
around
pull
looking.
higher than a 26?
We'll just assume she's there and just keep walking.
Okay.
Yeah, you make your way into the town. For those of you who have been to Tulsavan, it definitely does not have the same sort of feel. There are no low walls. It is, wooden homes, thatch roofs, nobody on guard at the gates, because there are no gates at all. It's a small town along the, not far off from a river flowing through this area. It's pretty clearly a logging area, logging town. The people looked, the people who are getting up in this early hour of the morning and setting off towards their morning routines looked hardened, as though these people have been shaped by a world that needs hard hands and hard workers, but not great thinkers. You notice, coming in, there are a few inns, a lot more taverns, and a couple of what the heck are they? Stables. And a lot of the work that's happening now involves getting the horses from those stables hitched to wagons.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys going to do in town?
Well, Eigner, as he's coming into the town and kind of
And sees none of this.
sees none of this, but he's taking everything else in. He's hearing things. Mostly, he's like, I'm gonna focus on the smelling aspect, because that's one of those that's most closely tied to memories of a place. So if he's able to accurately kind of like get that, he gets that whiff of like stale beer from all the taverns and like that. It's like a dwarven place, right? So there's a lot of like dwarven body.
No, this
odor.
is not a dwarven.
It's
This
not
is
dwarven. I mean, wait,
No.
but he was.
I
in
only compared it to
before.
Tulsavan because of the fact that Tulsavan is the only.
Because
other
it's
small
the
town
opposite of
I'm into.
Tulsa.
Yeah, it's also on the opposite
Oh
shore.
wait. Oh, so
Because
it's
the bureaus
not.
in the Free Kingdoms.
Oh, it's not Telsavan. Oh,
No.
okay. This whole time I thought it was. When you said that, I just made that connection. My bad.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. I was making a contradiction or a contrary comparison between the two because it is in very ways not like Tulsavan.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I see.
Yeah. Although you are the only one who's been there, so the visual contrasts aren't.
Well, in that case, what I was gonna do is like not even valid. So he's just a follower, not a leader at this moment, and he's just kind of taking in the surroundings and trying to like map out the area in his mind as best as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will act as Agner's eyes for
Thank
the time
you.
being. I'll let you take my arm and I'll walk through almost as a sign. Like walking up to this point, I've not had you by the arm because you've been capable of doing things on your own. But while we're in an urban environment, so that other people don't assume that you're sighted, I'm gonna act as a guide, so I'll lead you through.
Eigner will not protest.
And I think the first port of call, despite the fact that we stole a whole bunch of food, is to go to the pub. Like, I realize this is a fairly stereotypical thing, but...
Oh, yeah, Eigner will actually, that'll be something he'll ask in a very gruff voice. He'll say just, where's the nearest pub?
We need fire, seating, we need some cold ale, and maybe just some extra shut-eye. Like, we've not slept properly.
I'll even take warm ale at this point.
So I kind of, as we get to the edge of town, I pop out and I kind of pass by and I'll say, I'll secure rooms and just like without almost looking at you guys, just kind of go in, say that, and then move on. So kind of like to the point where if you think you can react, go for it. But I'm just like a drive-by.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interacting with you guys as little as humanly possible right now.
Word.
Yeah, I'm sort of accepting that for the time being. So yeah, I'll just quickly nod and assume that it's going to be 3 rooms.
Eigner will
100%
grunt.
She wants
Yeah,
no one
that's-
having any thoughts.
Yeah.
There will be words.
Yes, I will take Eigner into the tavern and have a look around. So, is there simply like a locals vibe to this, or is there more of like a trading hub feel?
You come in, and there's the tavern is fairly full at the moment. Um, a lot of large men and women, very muscular, very shaped by manual labor, sitting about, eating hearty breakfasts, lots of meat, lots of eggs, lots of protein-based foods, and drinking out of large mugs. um, it's a very quiet murmur settling through the room. People are eating in a very solemn way, not engaging too much in conversation, and many people don't seem fully awake. But the second you walk in the door, even though people don't look up from their meals, you get the feeling that all eyes are on you. Eigner walking in, you can smell first more than anything the smell of smoke from the fireplace, uh, and it's actually a very sweet smell with the wood that's burning in there. Um, Very comforting,
Mm-hmm.
and as that smell kind of settles in, it's followed up by that just smell of cooking meat. And those two smells are so predominant that nothing else really seems to permeate them.
Mm. Egner, his mouth will start to water and he'll let out a low groan and he'll just start to kind of weave his way as best as he can toward where the fire and the cooking meat is.
All right.
I shall lead Eigner towards the
Halifax.
stove.
Halifax, I'm hungry.
So I've noticed. Uh, are you all right? Do you need a change of pantaloons?
No. I just need meat.
I will escort us to by the fire and apologize to a few people nearby if they're sort of seated nearby and were jostling for space, because you said it was quite busy. But once we finally get settled and seated.
Yeah, early on when it comes to sitting at tables, if there's a table with people on it, even if there's open spaces, you'll see, someone will kind of give you a sideways look and then scoot over to sort of make it clear that that space is not available.
Oh.
Finally, you are able to find a seat, a small chair in the corner of the room as far from the fire as you can get. So it is, and it's next to a window, so you do get a bit of the cold morning air drafting through.
Well, this seems to be a most hospitable place for us, Eigner. I apologize that the fire's so low and cold, despite how close we actually are to it.
Don't bullshit me. I can feel we're right next to this window. We left the fire a little while ago.
I was gonna ask you to roll a insight check to see if you can figure out, but yeah.
With his senses the way they are, like he would be able to recognize that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have a window right next to the fireplace. Are you kidding me?
Did you ever watch Thundercats into the second season?
I think so, man. I think I
yeah,
did.
like the old Thundercats.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Do you remember Linkso?
Maybe.
So
that?
Thundercats Ho was the 5 episodes that made up a TV movie called Thundercats Ho, which transitioned between the first season and second season. And that's when they introduced Linkso, Pulmyra, and Bengali. Bengali was the white tiger, basically Tigra's identical twin, but like a white Bengal tiger. Pulmyra was the new girl
Mhm.
that they introduced because they realized it was rather sausage heavy, and Linkso was the new kind of Jaga person. He was a blind guy that used to work in the palace back on Thundera, and he was blinded at the destruction of Thundera, and they managed to reach Third Earth, but they were like made into slaves and stuff. But yeah, like he's this kung fu master, and despite the fact that he's blind, he's got this awareness of his surroundings. He's got like a sixth sense for danger, like spider sense thing. It's really cool.
Eigner's like Linkso.
All right.
Yeah.
Who didn't know?
I feel like one of the things Agner needs to get better about is picking up intentions through voice.
Oh, sure.
You
No,
need to
he'll-
find those moments of wavering speech to.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
and he'll get an advantage on his insight check. You know.
There are so many cues given verbally that we don't even think about because we're too busy looking.
Yeah. Very true.
There are also a lot of cues given, visually, especially when it comes to lying.
Yeah. Also.
For those of you who don't know, that's my job. To tell when people are lying. Mostly children. I'm a father, not because I work for the FBI or something. I'm not Robert De Niro. Come on. All right.
Cal Lightman over here. Yes, I apologize, Eigner. A few eyes seem to be upon us here. We don't seem to be too welcome.
Let's find a different bar then.
All right. And we'll get up and leave. As we're leaving through the door, we'll glance back just to see, I'd like to see if we're going to be followed, but also just to get a general sense of the room. Like, are they relieved we're going? Are they still concerned? Like, is this strangers in our local pub? Oh, good, they're going? Or is this this strangers in our village were still apprehensive, despite the fact that they're walking out the door?
The man at the bar, he eyes you very clearly as you're walking out the door, washing his mug, and he just spits on the ground, and then cuts his eyes back and washing it. Make me a perception check.
Because now I'm starting to wonder, is this a race thing? Ooh! Sorry, I got very excited at the fact that I rolled a 2, so that makes a 5 total, so
Oh.
You're very excited about it too.
Yeah,
I am.
I'm excited about it too.
Because it perpetuates the ignorance. It means that the tension can be ramped up a bit.
Yeah. There was a very specific visual cue I was going to give you that you definitely do not see. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I wrote this up.
It was this.
He pulls out what you think is a small box, and as he winds it,
you do get enough like this is the most kind of maybe noise you've heard the entire since you walked in the door over the murmuring and everything is like I think Eigner more than anybody can just hear this sense of shifting bodies, and it seems like most of the tavern is either directly or out of the corner of their eye watching them.
I get a really bad feeling about it too, Halifax. It's not just you.
Going over to Theala, who is securing rooms.
Okay.
Did she see us leave though?
Huh?
Did she see us leave?
oh
Or
crap!
did
Yeah,
she-
we
or
were
did
gonna
she
get
go-
rooms.
Or did she go to a different place to get rooms secured or
Different
whatever?
place.
Yeah. The tavern and
The
the
inn are
taverns
different
and
things.
the inns, none of them are connected.
Okay.
Nobody owns an inn and tavern. It is clear they would like to keep, visitors who are sleeping in the inns separate from places where people drink.
Fair. So Theala's at some inn.
Yes. And
So,
Asa is trying to look up shifty, weird-ass D&D economy.
all right.
Here, I'll go with this.
One of these days, I want to do a rework of their economic system.
You and me both, man.
Like maybe release that as a supplement of some kind.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah,
I'll talk about it later. Not in game.
right, gotcha. I walk up to the counter and I kind of just rest my elbow, like kind of lean in and just rest my elbow on the countertop.
The lady sitting now, you don't even really see her aside from like a white bun of hair above the just barely peeking over the countertop, and as you lean against it you can see an elderly lady sitting on a low stool. She has just this large plank of wood in front of her, and on it she's jotted all these different squares that she's starting to fill in with letters.
Okay.
And then she keeps referring to another section where there's a list of like sentences written down.
Okay.
Very clearly a homemade crossword puzzle.
Right. That wouldn't be a common. That wouldn't necessarily be a common game in the D&D world. So
No,
would you
definitely
want me to roll for it, or just assume that I don't know what it is?
I'm gonna assume that you.
I would be intrigued.
Give me a roll. I'm actually curious about that. Give me a roll. Because you are a soldier, you would have a possibility of traveling around and maybe seeing different variations of this.
Right. And I'm, even though it's not my background feature, I'm also noble, so.
Yeah.
My backstory is I'm a noble, so.
And part of the soldier background has a lot to do with games.
Yes, this is true. What do you want me to add?
Maybe an insight. I don't know. It's a weird one. Maybe history? Yeah. Let's do history. History sounds good.
13.
Okay. Yeah. You know that that this is some kind of word matching game. You've seen certain variations between like. Most of what you see have seen that's similar to this have to do with taking tiles that have letters on them and mixing them up and then just kind of scattering them about and then finding words with the like 12 tiles that you grab or however many tiles you grab. It's a game that's played a lot among soldiers to just see who can find the biggest word or the most complex word. This looks like a variation of that because she is custom drawing these squares and writing letters in them. But she's not using the tiles, and she keeps referencing this list that isn't used in this game at all.
Okay.
That game, however, you happen to know this tile game tends to have a lot of fist fights that break out amongst the soldiers who play it because there's a lot of debate over whether or not certain words are actually words.
That's not a word.
And then there's well, it's a word in Dwarven. Well, we're not playing in Dwarven.
It's common only, motherfucker. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna take note of it, but not say anything about it. I'm just going to sit there and wait until she addresses me.
Yeah. Upon leaning over the counter, you're not quiet about it. The door opens, and once you lean over the counter, she looks up at you with just kind of a bored look in her eyes, and she goes, "Oh, you're a dark one, aren't you?"
I'm sorry. Repeat that.
You're a dark one, aren't you?
Yes.
We don't see many of your kind around here. What can I do for you?
I need 3 rooms.
She looks at something under the desk and then looks back up at you without standing up and says, "I'm sorry, we don't have 3. We only have the 1.
I would like to see if there are any keys behind her.
No, behind her is just a curtain hung on some rings, and it clearly leads to like a back room, but this little section is just kind of a small little area without any keys behind her. you can put together, they're probably underneath the desk, or underneath the not the desk, but it is pretty much a desk.
Right. Like underneath
But it
the
is,
counter or whatever.
yeah. It's this little built-in booth, yeah. But underneath the counter is probably where the keys are held.
Gotcha. I'm gonna say, how many rooms are there in this inn?
5.
Cool.
She looks back at her crossword and just.
Then 2 of them are going to be unoccupied very quickly.
Oh.
Yes.
And how can you guarantee that?
Well, they will be unoccupied one way or another. By coin or by cut, they will be occupied.
Making friends and influencing people with
Right.
the Ala Oloro.
I don't know where you come from, but we don't get many strangers around here. Those who do come through our town tend to stay for a very long time. Unless you plan on killing the people who live in these rooms, all of whom I know quite well. I don't see any reason why they would vacate them. Unless you are some sort of wealthy aristocrat, in which case, why would you wander through our lonely town? She looks at you for the first time, like really deeply looks at you and says, "What are you hiding from, miss?"
So I grab my dagger and I slam into our wood puzzle and I lift it up, shaking off all of the tiles and kind of hold it there with like the dagger in hand.
That's a death sentence in our house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously. Stabbing the Scrabble board? What the fuck are you
Well, no, it's
doing?
crossword puzzle board.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, yeah.
She kind of startles at that and says, "I'm sorry, it seems that someone has filled the last room." And then she quickly scuttles back through the curtain.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to basically break the board on my way out, and I'll like just basically take it and snap it in half, and leave and move on to the next inn.
Just set fire to the place. Fewer witnesses, the better. Oh my goodness.
I'm trying not to kill somebody right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a guy who plays a drow in my at-home game, and if I pulled that on him, he would have killed that lady in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no,
I'm
you
a
have no
drow,
idea how
bitch.
tempted I was to just be like,
Oh yeah, and it's not murder hobo. Like, she was very rude.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't want to deal with this shit right now. Because if you're gonna be like this, then I have to keep sleeping with one eye open and blah blah blah. And I was like, fuck this. So she just breaks it and breaks the board and walks out. Maybe is there anything in the lobby?
Like anything to break? Yeah, I mean the lobby is roughly furnished. There's a little sitting area by a window that people can come and sit and drink, sip something to drink and watch the streets. There are like little crocheted or little crocheted messages that you'd expect, like the home sweet home
Right.
thing, or like a little cabin in the woods, sort of homey, cozy things.
Gotcha. So in a bit of pettiness, I'm going to grab a few of those and just take them with me.
All right,
That's
you have
petty.
three. You have three homespun, hanging furnishing things.
Yeah.
The kind of stuff you would expect in like your grandma's home.
Right. Exactly. Like a B&B or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. B&B is even better because I mean, come on, some of us have pretty cool grandmas who have like pictures of Led Zeppelin and shit on their walls.
Yeah. Okay. I move on to the next inn.
All right. The next inn is actually the building right next door.
Okay, that's fine.
You step in, and I would like you to roll me a perception check.
Math 21.
Okay. Stepping into this room, it's The common opening room is about twice the size of the room of the building you were just in. There is, one little section that is like this. I can't think of what that glass is called when it's like a nook, like an actual legit nook. Like the window has a ledge. The window stretches around the whole corner. There's a pretty cozy, like two cozy chairs and a little table there with a nice little cloth covering.
A bay window on a solar room.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like it's definitely meant for sitting and viewing. There is a fire not too far away. On it, you can see, like on this just metal ledge above the fire, you can see a pot sitting there. Steam is coming out of the mouth of it. I guess the spout. Yes, I'm a little teapot. Help me out with that one. Steam is coming out of the spout. And there's an actual like desk area with behind it a few rings on the wall, boasting 5 out of the 8 key hooks have key rings on them. And what you notice though, because just like the other place, there is a doorway right next to that keyring area with a cloth hanging. And you notice there's a young woman talking with an elderly lady, and the elderly lady, upon looking at the door, quickly ducks out. Also, the door, when you open, makes a little jingling sound. You notice there's a bell rigged up so that when the door opens, it smacks that bell and jingles it.
Right.
This old lady ducks out of the room really fast through those curtains.
So with my 21, do I recognize the little old lady?
Oh, what's the lady you were just talking to?
Okay, cool. So that's what I figured.
Yeah.
So I walk up to her and I say, "Please don't make this a problem. I am in no mood. If you fuck with me, I will cut you."
This lady,
3 rooms.
This lady is much younger. She looks like she could be this old lady's granddaughter.
Right.
She smiles at you in a very sweet manner and says,
"Yeah,
you definitely made an impression on my gran." And
she literally
like
is her granddaughter.
I'd
Oh
like
my
you to
God.
roll me an insight check.
the insight or intimidation."
Insight.
Insight or intimidation.
I
I will cut you.
mean, she did intimidate her, so there's that.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Insight 18.
Okay.
I roll really well here and shitty on Fridays.
She seems genuinely entertained by that notion.
Okay.
And she says, "I would be happy to rent you a room or 3. No need for your threats here."
Okay. 3 rooms and dinner, if you please.
The 3 rooms we can definitely have. I'm afraid we don't serve food here. You'll have to go to one of the taverns for that. But we can make you a nice cup of tea, maybe some warm ale.
How
Whatever you
much
need.
extra if you can go get it and deliver it to me?
And on that, because I don't want to deal with the conventions of pricing,
Yeah.
she will name you. It seems like a little bit of a steep price, but it's not like she's trying to gouge you. It's just likely you're not a local here, so we do have
Right.
sort of like a non-local tax. That's not official, but we still abide by it.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I gotcha.
But even the prices for the rooms are pretty reasonable.
So how much for all 3 rooms?
For all 3 rooms is 15 silver.
Oh, 15 silver? Fuck yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, per night.
Hold on, let me do. Hold on.
Then she asks how long you plan to stay.
Just hold on.
Look at the services here.
Let's start with tonight and at most 1 more.
Okay. And she lets you know that it's going to be a 5 copper. She'll call it a tip to the carrier, the courier of the food, plus whatever the food costs itself.
So I just hand her the 5 silver back, and say, "This should cover it."
She says, "Oh, that is more than generous. Thank you." My gran, sometimes she is just so mistrusting of new people. It seems that she missed out on a potentially generous customer. Well, it's her attitude, which is why I can afford an inn twice as large as hers.
Well, I'm used to that kind of treatment. I paid it no mind up to a point. I appreciate you're willing to work with me, and I understand people's reticence of interacting with us. So, even if you charged me far more than I should have, I appreciate any kind of business.
She, are you making to leave, or is that just your comment? In the moment?
That's just my comment of just no. That's my comment of I'm aware that you might be charging up to double, but I'm okay with your swindling of me. I don't want to fucking deal.
Okay. She grabs 3 room keys and hands them to you and says, "Well, it's always a pleasure to meet interesting people."
There should be a human in Asimar coming in at some point if they eventually find it. Can you hand the other 2 keys to them?
She kind of looks at you a little wide mouthed and says, "You know one of the people of the capital? Wow. He must really be an important person."
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I mean, not real, whatever. Yeah, kind of. I know some important people. I have my connections. But I'm gonna go lie down for a while.
I'll make sure your friends get these keys, and then as you make your way towards the stairs, she kind of timidly asks, "Can I ask what happened?"
What happened where?
Well, your skin is all dark. Were you burned? Are you?
So I kind of what race is this person?
She's human.
Okay. So I kind of turn around and I kind of walk up a little seductively, and I say, "I come from a far-off land where my people were cut off from the Fae.
What?
We had we went through some changes, and during that time, our physiology was affected far more than what one would have expected. We don't have a lot of men in our culture, or we have lower male birth rates. We have, our darkened skin. We have people who are a little aggressive. This is, we definitely prefer the company of women. This is the way that my people are."
How strange. You prefer the company of women. What do you mean by that? I have a lot of women friends, but we kind of all band together anyway because the men go out and work.
Why don't you come join me and we'll talk all about it.
If it matters to you, you do see that she has a bit of cloth thong tied around the finger that would indicate in human culture marriage.
Yeah, don't stop me.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out there.
Divorce is only 2 beers away.
Wow.
Why are you? If she joins you to have conversations, because she has clearly never seen a drow before,
Yeah.
And is enthralled by this change of personality. She recognizes you as an elf, but she didn't even understand what the Fae was.
Right. I will talk to her, but I will feel her out, and as we're talking, and if I feel like it's going nowhere, then we'll just have a conversation. But
Okay.
I'll subtly kind of probe a little here and there, and kind of see, where I can get.
Okay. Do you want to make a roll on that?
Yeah, I'll make a roll on that.
All right.
I will say this. I will be careful about how I interact, so as to not ruin the conversation. So if I roll, it's one of those. If I roll poorly, it just means that I fail, not that I became so overt or intimidating as to push her away.
Yeah, you don't want to offend her, but you just want to see where.
See where I can take it.
Good deal. All right.
Yeah. So persuasion.
Just don't roll a 1.
Basically, persuasion.
Yeah, persuasion would be grand.
Oh my god.
Is it a 1?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, you're gonna love this. Come on, there we go. I just want to make sure I know what my persuasion is. 23.
Okay. Definitely throughout the conversations, the stuff you get about, that kind of like comes to her as you probe here and there is the idea of making love to a woman has never even occurred to her. And yet, the more it's discussed and the more drow culture comes around, she's really interested in how you procreate if all of the women...
Wait, this is where this went to when I went to the bathroom?
Oh, yeah. If all the women are having sex, like, how does your species procreate? These are the kind of things that are coming up in her questioning. It's very clear that the idea of any homosexual relationship is absolutely alien to her.
Right.
But intriguing. Maybe just on this is so different to me, I'm interested to know more, or maybe on a different...
Wherever the evening goes is wherever the evening goes.
All right.
Based on, you can tell me, but based on it, wherever the evening goes is wherever the evening goes.
I will say that as the day gets later, she will make a point that she does need to be, running the inn in case anybody else comes in, and when her husband gets home, like, she should be working.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Those troublesome husbands. Who needs them?
But she would be more than happy to continue conversation in the sitting room at any time if
I
the
tell her
Allah
at that
has
point,
time.
whenever she leaves, just to knock on her door, and she that I'll be more than willing to come and spend time and talk.
All right. We should probably give this character a name, since she has been more than just a quick...
She's not just any NPC anymore.
Because I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who lately, and I am really enjoying the name Clara. Her name? Clara.
Clara?
You have to say it like that. Clara.
Clara?
Clara.
I like it.
No, she'll more say it like Clara.
Clara.
That's a good one. All right. So that is Clara.
Okay.
That is the inn.
You
found a nice place.
Do Eigner and Halifax find a fucking drink somewhere?
Do they luck upon a
honestly,
nice, flirty, open-minded Clara of their own?
No. Eigner just wants a beer, goddammit. That's all he wants.
You go into the next tavern. It's a few buildings down. And you go into the next tavern, and the first thing that you see walking in, because it's just a few feet from the door, there is the bar. There's the bar, and scrubbing the bar very vigorously is a elderly man with very harsh eyebrows. and a very thin face.
You have been watching Doctor Who.
I haven't watched Doctor Who. Because it's all about the eyebrows.
Yeah.
So these lines on my face, and I didn't put them there. Who's been putting these lines on my face? All right, so yeah.
And okay, so as soon as they go in and Halifax maybe like is pointed in this certain direction, Eigner can hear, he can smell that they're in the tavern now, so he'll tug on Halifax's sleeve a little bit and say, "All right, just kind of lead me to where the bar is, and let me try to take care of this here."
One of the first things that Eigner picks up coming in is this very bitter aroma of like alcohol, but not the kind, like not what would seem like enjoyable to drink.
Oh, just like really hoppy stuff.
No, like
Or...
I'm trying to figure out like at what level would alcohol become a cleaner.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
It's kinda
so
Okay,
probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 160 proof.
Okay,
sure.
so that's kind of what you're picking up.
Okay,
is
so I mean,
very strong.
Eigner has had some very like homemade moonshine rot gut kind of shit. So he would be able to pick up on that smell, and he'd be able to tell like, whoa, that's like way more than I've ever like got down on. That's like a whole nother level. So he just goes, ugh, I don't much like the smell of this one, Halifax, but hopefully they serve some beer that doesn't smell like that.
Well, if you don't like the smell of it, you can find your way out. The doors are behind you.
I'm sorry about that, sir. I was wondering if you just had any nice cold ale.
Of course I have cold ale. This is a tavern.
May I ask then what that blinding smell is?
That blinding smell is what makes this counter clean, so you could eat off of it if you wanted to.
I'd rather take a plate, but
Good, they're just as sterile.
Look, I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot here. My name is
You and I didn't get off on a foot at all. We just had words.
Fair. My name is Eigner. This is Halifax, and we would very much like to have some ale and have some food. I can easily pay you for the Eigner at this point, like, just kind of trails off, and the hunger and the strain and everything is just kind of getting to him a little bit.
Eigner, let's be nice to the tavern owner. Any port in a storm and all that. Excuse me, good sir, purveyor of goods and services. Might we simply procure some light refreshments and a seat in your wonderful establishment?
You can procure anything you can get your hands on. Seats are in front of you. They're over there. You take a seat, I'll find the food. I prefer his talking, though. He's a bit more to the point.
Yeah.
You like your points all round. All flowery and covered in niceties.
Eigner, I think we found your kind of person.
Yeah, I like him already.
Wait. Your name is Eigner.
Yes. What's yours?
We'll just call me John. John sounds good.
Okay, John. Have you met an Eigner before?
I've met many people in my travels.
I say, John, you wouldn't happen to be related to the Telsavan Soundsgoods, would you?
Are they dwarves? Tell us if it's a dwarven town.
True. Never mind. Perhaps it's my mistake.
It is, in fact.
It all just clicked for me.
Yeah.
John sounds good. That's his name. John sounds good.
That is in fact his name.
That's his name. Oh my
It's actually
gosh.
pronounced Sans.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Can I do
How dare I
like,
mix up my own pronunciation?
yo, Asa, I'm gonna take your advice that you said earlier, and I'm gonna do like a retroactive insight check on
Yeah.
when he was like, "Your name's Eigner,"
Right.
and trying to get more information out of that whole thing. And that's gonna be pretty damn good. That's gonna be 23.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean,
I mean, did it sound like he's heard of me or something? Or like, because I tried to ask that little question and he just kind of dodged it. It's just
I
like,
mean-
what kind of tone was he using when he was like, "Yo, your name's Eigner"? Like-
it was a very matter of fact tone. Like, I'm asking a clarification of your name.
Oh,
But, I mean, there's the obvious. He wouldn't be asking if it didn't mean something.
uh-huh.
But there's the more than obvious that when he says that, you are suddenly catching a hint of something beneath this bitter alcohol smell. And it's a scent of something that you smelled before. A lot of the commanders you served under would would wear like rings of flowers, really potent floral ones, especially after an injury, to cover up the scent of blood from their bandages so they could continue to serve.
Interesting. So I smell this coming off of John. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Word.
good. Yes, you've picked up the smell off of John Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. John,
Yes, sir.
forgive me for being presumptuous, but are you injured? I've smelled that kind of flower before.
Halifax sees, and Eigner, you can hear movement. Halifax sees him stop scrubbing, and he looks at his hands. Few burns, few cuts. Nothing that won't heal on their own. Changed his voice, I think.
When I've smelled that kind of flower before, it usually meant something beyond a few cuts and burns.
Tell me, Eigner, you were a soldier, weren't you?
For too long.
Like recognizes like, don't they? Sit down, have a drink, have some food.
Yes, please.
Get off your feet.
All right. Eigner's there.
By the way, point of reference, 160 proof is very strong absinthe.
Wow.
I'll clean a countertop.
So that'll clean varnish off of your bar.
Yeah. He might have looked for something a little less. Just because he didn't say it, he probably would have earlier, is just the fact that this is the botched brews. The botched, ales,
Right.
whatever. That's
I
what
just
he
wanted
thinks.
to be like, give you a point of reference of what 160 proof does to is for a body.
Yeah.
Word.
Anyway, yeah, you guys take a seat, and
And we
John
chillin'.
does not ask for your order. He just brings you food after a short time. After stepping back from behind the counter, he comes back with 2 steaming plates and 2 mugs and sets them down. And looking around the room, there are a few patrons, most of them eating by themselves. A lot of them, definitely, those who've even tried to make contact with you or look at you guys, they're making pains to kind of keep themselves unnoticed. Like they're eating over their food, their shoulders hunched, blocking half their face, or they're wearing long robe or long hoods.
Uh-huh.
This is the place people go to when they don't want to be found.
For sure. After John brings us the food and the drink, I will rummage around in my pouch and sort through some of my coins and go until I find the one that I know is the large, fat, beautiful gold piece. And
Yeah.
I'll go to shake John's hand and I'll press the gold piece into his palm with the handshake.
He'll, as he takes your hand and shakes it, goes, I don't know that I'm a handshaker. And then he looks at his palm. Halifax saying this, you not. But I do take these. And it drops. You can hear the clink of it dropping in with other coins.
Mm-hmm. I can already smell that this is going to be one of the most delicious meals of my entire life. Thank you, John.
Of course.
Every meal is the most delicious meal of his life right now.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Biting into this, not just for Eigner, but also for Halifax. Whatever was weighing on you, whatever woes you were carrying with you, and even if you didn't even want necessarily what's in front of you, the second you bite into it, it is perfect. And the ale is brewed to perfection. Whatever your flavor taste is, that's that's exactly what it hits. Halifax notices this, but Eigner does not because he can't see. As you get near the bottom of your glass, you notice that the bottom of the glass is not solid. It is a thin piece of glass that's set into the wood on the bottom of your glass. And you can see through it.
Once I've finished my cover, I'm gonna look up and even like peer towards a window and try and catch the light with it and just have a look through this very curious thing.
A moment later, John comes back, holding 2 more mugs, sets them down in front of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Tell me, bartender, what is the purpose behind the design of these mugs?
You don't travel much, do you?
I've only begun to do so recently, yes.
Where are you from? Let me guess your name. Hold on, I'm really good at this. I guessed Eigner's, didn't I? Oh, let's see. You're a... Well, you're definitely an Azamar. That's definitely noticeable. I think you must be a Ted. You're a Ted. Greetings, Ted. My name is John.
Your powers of deduction are legendary, sir. Yes, I am indeed Ted. I am Ted the Azamar. I am from one of the smaller villages to the north. And I've recently decided to go on my merry travels, see the world.
He is the most adventuresome of the Azamars. Avatars.
Avatars.
Ted the Azamar.
Well, Ted the Azamar. He looks through picks up the glass and looks through it, and then drops it down again. You ever gotten so drunk that you didn't know where you were, or where you were going, or who was around you?
I can't say I've had the occasion to get so drunk, no.
Well, maybe you should keep this mug in case that ever happens.
Oh. Thank you kindly. I assume a well-deserved tip will be coming your way soon.
Oh, this is a gift for you. However, and he leans in real close and kind of gestures for you to get close to him too. This will cost you. If you're going to learn to lie, you should do it much better.
I shall take that under advisement.
He stands there.
Oh, Sorry.
He just stands there waiting for a moment. Kind of puts his hand out.
Oh, yes. I'll reach into my pocket for, I suppose, a gold's already been paid to him.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just like a generous overpayment for the food and drink.
Yeah, I'll take out 5 silver. Cross his
Okay.
palms with him.
And then he goes, ahem, ahem.
He looks
Excuse
at
me,
it,
while I get out all the gold.
and he looks at it, and he frowns, and then he drops it into his coins, and then walks back over to his bar stool and starts to polish it very, very firmly.
Eigner, I think I may have upset the host.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, Halifax. You rely too much on your magical abilities to influence people, and you don't actually influence people all that well on your own. At least that's my assessment.
A fair one, I dare say. I do need to work on dealing with people who are not my own. He seems to be one of the few people in this place since we arrived to be comfortable around us, and yet he is gruff and off-putting. If that is the two modes of the people, the representative of the populace, then so be it. But, I don't think it's going to make for a very pleasant stay.
Thankfully, we're only staying here for a little bit.
With that, a woman pushes into the bar and runs straight to the bar. John, they're gone. She's just in hysterics, and he looks around the bar, and then she goes, "My children are gone," and he says, "Not here, Clara," and he kind of guides her to the back room. And that's where we're going to end today.
Clara? Well, of course, Eigner and Halifax don't know anything about Clara.
No, that's true. But
By
still.
the way, if you guys would like to watch a similar current storyline on Mischief and Misfits,
Is it
Nice seg.
as Doctor Who heavy?
no, the children being missing.
Oh, okay.
It's a
It's a trope,
mine
man.
is good place references.
It's
is
a
what
trope. I did
If you're a
that
fan
too.
of child abduction, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you're a fan of child abductions and Drow, by the way.
Roll for Mischief is your place.
Oh, God.
If you like racist old ladies,
It's
well,
X-nay on it. No. All right. So I guess at that, thanks for joining us, the Roll for Mischief crew. As I like to say, your favorite nerds. Join us next Tuesday, where we'll be continuing this episode, episode 8, Shifting Tides, DM'd by none other than your Asa Kinney.
True that.
Sweet. Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us, y'all. We really have a good time doing this, and it's a lot more fun having y'all along for the ride. So thanks for watching. See you next Tuesday.
Good night.
goodbye.
Bye.